possible to have one number for all of them, and I think these are some of the lessons that we have learned in the course of this discussion. So the invitation by the national government is in collaboration with county, and the responsibility of my ministry is to ensure that government resources are used well, and indeed there's no wastage on public resources. Mr. Speaker, allow me to go to Migori West, and the Honourable Member has alluded that we have a nearly 100-ton potato potential. And I think maybe the first thing to say is that we must diversify our definition of what food security is. I think for the longest period, food security was equal to maize. So if we didn't have sufficient maize, then we were food insecure. Yet, much of the potatoes from Migori, parts of Kisii, Nyandarua, Nakuru, and many other of these places have excess potatoes. But working together with the Ministry of Agriculture, we are trying to deal with one market challenge that we have. The varieties that are grown in most of our areas are varieties that have a very short shelf life. So after harvesting in the next 2 to 3 weeks, they will not be able to last beyond the 2-3 weeks. Therefore, the farmers are always desperate. There are other varieties that have been introduced in the market. They may be slightly expensive, but they are more productive, they are more resilient, and can be used for specialized markets, including some of the big international franchises we have, including KFC. So I think what we really need to do is, one, to help our farmers to grow the right varieties, connect them through contract farming to some of these big international companies. And one of the things we have tried to do is to ensure that, unlike in the past where potatoes and oranges would be imported, we are now trying to understand which varieties that need to be grown and how we can connect. Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that in my conversations with some of the manufacturers in the area of potatoes, we are still importing potato paste from Egypt because it is required as a critical ingredient in making the tomato paste. So what we are trying to work on now is to get that particular tomato that would be grown in some of our areas across the country, link them with the farmers, and together we can work together. In the case of Migori, Mr. Speaker, we are also trying to encourage business people to realize the potential in our counties. Migori is an extremely rich county with gold, food, access even to our neighboring countries. So the biggest drive is really to ensure that the capital we find in the big cities can also be channeled there. And through that, Mr. Speaker, we have organized several business forums, including one we had in Nyanza in 2013 that brought about, I think, 5 of the counties, but we would be glad to also do Migori specific. On the artisanal miners, Mr. Speaker.
Just a moment, Cabinet Secretary. What is your...
Mr. Speaker, my point of intervention is on a statement by the CS. Mr. CS, please clarify how potatoes can be used to make tomatoes.
Tomato
Potato paste.
Senator Ojienda, I can reply to that. You were not paying attention.
We are dealing with counterfeit. Is the CS saying that Kenyans are using potatoes as tomatoes?
No. Senator Ojienda. Yes, Senator Kinyo.
Mr. Speaker, we are concentrating and we are following what the Cabinet Secretary is saying. We are following what the Cabinet Secretary is saying, but I am sure the good professor is busy on his phone getting instructions from Mr. Speaker, you know from who. So please allow us to listen to the Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Senator Professor. I agree with Senator Kinyo. You did not listen to what the CS was saying. Can I answer for the CS? It was very clear. He said potato paste is a requirement in making tomato paste. So we are importing tomato paste from Egypt.
Paste.
No.
So are we selling tomato paste?
It's part of the ingredients.
Potatoes for tomatoes?
No. Potato paste. Base ingredient, exactly. Thank you, Senator Mtata. Professor will school you after the class, after the Senate session. CS, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just for the benefit of my good professor, I think all we are trying to say is that there are gaps in the market, and our role is actually to connect those market gaps and tell our farmers. So that if it's potatoes, we get the right potatoes that the industry is asking for. Tomatoes, the same. And just for clarity, in some of the countries, including Thailand and others, they don't use products such as cassava for eating. These are products that can be used as a base in pharmaceuticals. And that's why we want to take even our potatoes and all the others. So I think we just want to say that we want to bring value addition so that we can move forward. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, allow me to go to the honorable member on Migori West. There's a specific question on a refinery for our miners. And one of the biggest challenges we continue to face in Africa and in Kenya in particular is that we have not developed the necessary infrastructure, both to do the testing and more importantly, also refining. So we end up having our minerals being sold to the big markets, and we fetch maybe 30–40% of their true value. So one of the things that Kenya is trying to position itself is to be the refining hub for the region, not just for the country, but the entire region from DRC, Uganda, and all the others. And as you may have heard the speech by the president in Tanzania, these were some of the conversations that we would want to entrench. There will be huge opportunity, given the gold reserves that we have found, the rare minerals that have also been identified in Kenya, and working together with the Ministry of Mining, we will be able to come up with this area as one area where we can put our technology, our people, and also the financing necessary to create. And Kenya recently joined the prestigious group of countries that are recognized in mining. So I think we now need to move from the artisanal mining category to professional and large-scale mining. And I think this is going to be a game changer, Mr. Speaker. So lastly, Mr. Speaker, there was a question on the status, the Honorable Mariam, on the status of markets as being unknown. It is not unknown. I only said that a specific question on the status of KIPES has already been presented to us from the Senate. And we are waiting for the right date so that we can present it together with all the evidence required, and together we can be able to fill the gaps. But more importantly is that every so often we are learning a lot from these KIPES. For example, Mr. Speaker, in pastoralist counties where livestock is a key value chain, we need to align our KIPES so that they reflect that. In areas where it's largely agricultural or cereal, then again, we can't have one design for all of them. So these are lessons, and I think we cannot claim to be perfect in all this. Then we have certain markets and other government projects that have been built but are not yet complete. Therefore, the honorable member was asking what we can do. I think this is where we were talking about working together with the counties, because more often than not, when we decide to build a market, we just look at the structure. We don't look at the sanitation. We don't look at the roads accessing there. We don't look at how far it is from the main road, because markets are also about convenience, and it is for that reason sometimes when you geographically misplace a market, people will leave that grand market and go to trade outside because the geography is not aligned. And those are the issues or lessons that we have learned. And Mr. Speaker, what we have encouraged our county governments and the Ministry of Lands is that we do a feasibility study before any market is placed to reduce chances of misalignment. Mr. Speaker, also there was a question from the Honorable Siongo on specific examples of cooperatives of circles that we have been able to connect across. So we have Gatanga Tea Factory has been visited by major tea buyers, Grammy Tea and Herbal Association from France, and they are producers of the Orthodox tea. And Mr. Speaker, one of the things I would want to mention specifically about these Orthodox teas is that Kenya is also positioning itself not just to do the traditional teas, but the high-value teas, and also to change the use of tea from merely being a beverage to also being a fine dining item. And to this effect, we will be launching some of these products during the French Africa Summit that will be held in Kenya from next week. And I think some of these issues will be also put across. We also have Vivo Activewear is now expanding apparel to the USA, and this has been facilitated through Keproba. So, and I was specifically answering the question of providing examples. Mr. Speaker, allow me to inform the Honorable Member that in the general area of Machakos, Makueni, and those regions, the mango pulp that comes from that region has been found to be very good. In fact, it has no comparison within the larger East and Central Africa. And talking with the major manufacturers and processors, we would want to have this region producing the mango pulp for Coca-Cola and others, and therefore our work is to try and see how we can work with the counties, increase productions, have the right varieties, and build linkages that can provide support to our farmers. I submit.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. We'll take the second set of questions. Senator Kinyo.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. My observation is this, Cabinet Secretary. I think from where you sit, you have an aerial view of what's happening in the whole country, but then you can map out, because many of our counties, we have become jack of all trades, but master of none. Would you, from where you sit, because you have, you can quickly see, you have data plus monitoring, you say which county is best for what. Like, for example, like Laikipia, we are best in beef production. Would we then have a situation like that where you classify these counties? Like, for example, you go to Cuba. Cuba is known, and they know they are not producing anything, but they know their cash crop is exporting doctors. As in our country, you as a Cabinet Secretary, because you have an aerial view, what would you recommend? In your answering, Roman 3, you have indicated you are collaborating with the housing, Department of Housing. Can you confirm, the Cabinet Secretary, that our housing levy fund is the money that is used to construct the markets? Thank you.
Senator Omtata Okoiti.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you. Honorable Secretary, thank you for your presentation. My main concern is these CAPs that have come up in almost every county hardly have any feasibility studies. I've not seen a single feasibility study. I've tried to get one for Busia, the CAP in Busia, in Nasewa, no feasibility study. I've been tried to, there's also an industrial park there. I've tried to get a feasibility study for the industrial park. There's none. I've tried to get a spatial plan. There's none. I would have wanted to see a feasibility study whereby I'm able to gauge the viability of the project before public money is invested in. It's very good to talk about aggregation parks, to talk about this, to talk about all those things I've spoken about. But where there's no scientific study showing me that 1 + 1 equals, equals to 3, as Professor says, 1 + 1 equals to 2, I find it difficult to follow your presentation because you have reduced this thing into a very academic exercise. When I go to Busia Kaip, I've been there. What hits me is that what is this thing going to do? How is it, where is the ecosystem within which this CAIP is going to work? We visited the CAIPs in Ethiopia, and they had very clear thematic areas. They were not one size fits all. They were integrating regions in a very, very clear, thematically organized park. When you looked at it, you would see like they're driving industrialization. You have got incentives that, such as in taxation, there have incentives, even in power provision to these positions. So I don't know, Honorable Senator.
Senator Tata, please put your question forward.
Yes, I'm coming there.
Avoid debating the issue.
I've laid the background. So I don't know whether we have any feasibility study for any of those CAIPs, and what is this, if there are any, what is the scope of those feasibility studies, especially in terms of what incentives do they give,